It's ding ding, two men in a ring. We put pride in your stride and a quiver in your liver. You want 'em, we've got 'em, coming to you. Loud and proud, he's the biggest, he's the baddest. It's Mr. Gavin Davis on the Gavin Davis Podcast Show.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to part 2 with Ian Willy Williams. Willie, thanks for coming on, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. So, have you heard of Brookie lately? I had a message off him this morning, actually.
Did you? Say what?
He said, have I got any of his old fights? Because he wants to show his lad his fights.
Oh, right.
So I found one on Facebook that was on my Facebook, so I've sent it him.
Yeah.
But I think he's trying to look around for his old fights and that. Do you hear off him much?
Yeah. Not like I used to. Don't see much of him now. He's always working, to be fair.
Yeah.
He loves the overtime, Brookie.
Yeah. Well, get it while you can, innit?
Well, this is it, mate, innit? It's all money, innit?
Yeah. But yeah, to be fair, I was thinking about it the other day, you know, when you said that you were going to come on. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize as well that how much like you helped you and Brookie and Wayne Williams and people like that helped me, because I was in that traditional jiu-jitsu format.
Yeah.
And I was obviously I was picking up the ground really good, and I was cross-training and everything, but I didn't have, until you came along, someone who I could train with regular.
Yeah.
And then obviously when we used to go up to Brookie's, do you remember going in the garage?
What was it? What do we call it? The pit.
The pit, yeah.
Roped it off, didn't we? Roped it off and just used to fire like hell in there.
We could get 4 of us in there, couldn't we? And we used to have the washing machine in the bottom corner, didn't he?
That was it, yeah.
Yeah. So that was all good memories and that. But I think Brookie did fairly well, to be fair.
Yeah, he did. You know, he took some tough fights.
Yeah. Mate, we all did though, because I remember my first professional fight against Anthony Murphy, and I did the same as you, mate. I was just happy to fight. I trained for 10 weeks. I was ready to go.
And was he from the Wolf Slayer, wasn't it?
The Wolf Slayer, mate. And I got in the ring and I looked across the ring and I was like, I'm sure that's Paul Kelly and Gary Kelly down there.
Yeah, Paul. It was definitely Paul Kelly. I remember him being in liquid that day.
Yeah, and I'm looking at him. I'm thinking, I'm sure he's just fought in the UFC. Him.
Yeah, he was active. I'm not too sure if he was in the UFC at the time, but he was more or less there.
Yeah.
But he went off into the UFC a bit later, didn't he?
But that was during a time when Rampage and Bisping were training at the Wolf Slayer.
Yeah, and Tom Blackledge, they were all there.
Yeah,
Mario was a big coach, wasn't he?
Practically, which at the time was probably some of the best MMA fighters in the world.
100%.
So yeah, I took fights like Brookie and you that I shouldn't have took really at that start. But you get on with it, don't you?
That's just the way it was, wasn't it? You know, we didn't have managers around us, did we? We didn't have people telling us ins and outs of who we're actually fighting.
Yeah, well, all Russ was bothered about was if the scales were on the carpet or not, didn't he?
Jump on the carpet quick.
Yeah.
I remember one morning when I was fighting on Russ's show, my opponent changed about 3 times within a space of 2 hours. I was like, Russ, what's going on?
Yeah.
And a guy turned up later on, and I was like, Russ, who's that lad over there? Well, that's when you're fighting. I was like, has he weighed in? He was probably 15 kilos heavier than me, easy.
Yeah. I got to be honest about it. Amateur and semi-pro, I wasn't bothered about it. But when I turned pro, I love Russ to bits, but it started getting on my nerves a bit, to be fair.
Yeah.
But that's where you need to go to the bigger shows, don't you?
Yeah, once we had, I think that was my last amateur fight under Russ, and then we moved on then.
Do you remember when we went up to Corwin Bay and David Williams fought that's Steve Barry Jones in Corwin Bay?
Isn't he the black belt in Chester now? Yeah,
well, he was a purple belt. You on about you and Brookie and me taking fights we shouldn't have done. Dave Williams, we went to weigh in. I picked Kurt up from school, mate, to weigh in.
Yeah, I remember.
Got up there, got Kurt on the scales. He was squared away, right? Dave was 8 kilo lighter than this lad, right? Now, I didn't know him at the time. All I knew, he was a purple belt in BJJ at the time. And I said, Dave, you're not taking that fight. And he went, why? And I went, well, first of all, he's a purple belt. Second of all, he's got 16 pounds on you. And Dave said, I don't care. I'm taking that fight. I'm fighting tomorrow. So I was like, I let him
I,
fight, mate. Dave
I was
won.
in Dave's corner that night.
Yeah.
And he didn't just win; he won every minute of every round.
Yeah.
He absolutely
That was the
dominated.
night I was fighting in there as well.
Yeah,
And
I
Kurt and
cornered.
Josh.
I actually cornered Ollie, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I wasn't
yeah.
expecting Dave to win that fight.
Well, he absolutely dominated him.
He did. He did.
You know, it goes back to when the style of fighters we were back then. We used to do a lot of wall drills, and Dave just pinned him against the cage, took him down whenever he wanted to, basically. And the lad, he might have been a purple belt, but he didn't have any answers on the ground.
Yeah.
And he obviously he wasn't in the best of shape. And look at him, he was out of shape. And Dave's gas tank was through the roof at the time, so he pressured him, and he just took the fight out of him.
Yeah.
You know, when you get punched in the face, that purple belt soon goes, doesn't it?
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
Yeah.
And it becomes a stylistic thing, doesn't it, mate? Do you know what I mean? Like Dave's style, your style, that works for you in that environment.
It does, you know, especially if you can get them against the cage. And if they got no takedown defense, they're going to struggle. Like,
Yeah.
because they're gonna end up on their backs.
So what classes are you doing at Impact at the minute, mate? I know you got the BJJ going on there with Stuart.
So Duffy does all the BJJ, and that I think it's Monday night we have a beginners. Tuesday night is gi. Wednesday night's no gi. Thursday night's gi. No gi Friday. Gi Sunday. So it's a full schedule, really. MMA side, it's MMA on Mondays with me. Tuesdays, strength and conditioning with Jared. He's took over from Paul now. He's doing a great job there, getting all the guys ready for their fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Wednesdays, we have every other week. So it's 1 week Thai. The next week will be MMA sparring with me. On a Thursday is boxing with Gavin. He's doing a great job with that. On Saturday mornings with Jared, he does an MMA class. Usually you just get the MMA fighters in that one, and they usually spar on a Saturday.
Is Jared looking at fighting again?
I don't know if he'll have a fight again after, because when we got him matched for Cage Warriors, he failed the brain scan, didn't he?
I don't know,
yeah, mate. Yeah, it came back. He had some of it wasn't quite right on the brain, and maybe a shadow. They weren't happy anyway. They wouldn't pass him to fight.
Right. Okay.
So after that, he's never fought. You know, we could clear him to fight on different local shows, but is it worth the risk? You know,
no, it's not, mate. It's not. The thing is, out of all them lads, Jared had the best brain out of them all as well.
Yeah, he did. He's a good kid. You know, he's still doing his trainings through the roof. He doesn't do a lot of gi stuff, but he's just getting back into the sparring and all that stand-up style, and he's loving it again. He's mad for his strength and conditioning and stuff like that.
Yeah, Kurt the Kid looking at fighting again, I believe.
Yeah, he was, yeah, but Kurt the Kid is getting Kurt the Kid in the gym. That's the problem with Kurt the Kid. You know,
always has been, mate.
Yeah, I remember we had him doing some hill sprints once, and like the scene just wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? He's got all the ability in the world, but he's just got to find that inner belief and put it all together, really. Because of technical side, he's as good as anybody could be.
And he is a good athlete, mate. He's a very good athlete.
He's the technical side of things. He's like a sponge. He can pick it. His technique is through the roof. You know, he's just got to believe in himself and push that cardio a bit more.
Yeah.
That's him down now. He does a lot of weights. He's a big stocky lad now. He's strong as an ox. But technically, he's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him back in there because he could do really well. But you know, he's just got to find them running trainers in the morning and go for runs and get that cardio where it needs to be. That's the only thing that lets him down is his cardio.
Mate, it's hard when you have a missus and you have kids and you have work and all this, and people can't do it no more. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I'm not gonna knock him for it because I understand he works full time. He's a fireman.
Yeah,
he's got a good career ahead of him now. So stuff like that comes first, doesn't it?
What weight would he fight at if he did fight again?
I think he'd struggle to get to 70 kilo. He's got to be walking around at 80 kilo now.
Is he?
So it's going to be a big cut. maybe get a catch weight if he does choose to fight. He did start coming back training, and then he fell on his shoulder awkwardly, and he's out with that for a while. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but as we get older, these injuries just come, don't they? And that's the game we're in, unfortunately. You just pick up a lot of nickels.
Yeah. So yourself, I know that you've had some injuries the last 12 months.
Yeah.
But you were awarded your brown belt a couple of months back.
Yeah.
So that's obviously great achievement, mate. Well done on that one.
Yeah. I probably would have had, like I say, I probably would have had it a 12 months before, other than my injuries. I had some bad injuries.
Yeah.
But that's part and parcel of the journey you're on, isn't it? You're going to pick up injuries.
Yeah. So, do you enjoy doing the gi?
I do enjoy it, but I probably still prefer no gi. I love the grappling side with no gi, but I do like gi when I'm there. But sometimes it can be a bit of a chore for me to get there, especially when I'm running around all the time doing one-to-ones, training the kids, working full time. It's difficult. The classes are late as well. Some of the classes don't start till 8 o'clock. So time you finish, get home, and say you've got work in the morning, it's late.
Yeah, I get in about 9:45 at night, and then I'm up for 6. Like, so
Yeah,
it's not going to bed 9:45. I've got to eat. I've got to have a bath. I've got to wind down a little bit. So it's 11 o'clock, mate, before I even get in bed.
I can't eat at that time, mate.
No,
I just can't do it.
just have a bowl of cereal or something small.
I struggle after jits, to be fair, and I struggle to wind down as well. It's weird.
Yeah, I like just putting a bit of TV on in bed for a half an hour, 45 minutes, just to chill me out. Like, do you know what I mean?
I put the earphones on, audiobook. I like that sort of switches me off.
Yeah, yeah. So, of all the fights you've had, what's your favorite fight, mate? What was the one that you're most proud of?
The most proud of. It's a tough one, that. Obviously, when I look at some of the cards I fought on, like Tom Aspinall and Paddy, Tom Aspinall was amateur in a couple of the fights I had.
Yeah.
Look at some of the cards, and remember FCC. I fought a lad called Dan Gibbon, I think it was. It must have been about 3,000 there. It was absolutely packed, and the card was stacked. And I think I was 4 fight on. Had the likes of Paddy on, and he came with a good record. I think he was like 6-5 as a pro. He was very experienced. And I had a lovely little submission that night as well, standing up guillotine. But probably the best fight I ever had, the one, and it was probably the toughest mentally. I fought an Irish lad called Dennis. I can't remember his second name, but it was the last ice show basically in Bolton. Not the same again. It was a massive. They spent a fortune on all the walkout and all that. It was like unbelievable. It was full there, and I think it was 3 rounds, and it was 3 tough rounds as well. And that there gave me the most joy really, because I had to work for the full 15.
Yeah.
It was. I'd say that was. I was most proud of that one, definitely.
Do you? So sometimes I'm quite happy with what I did and everything. I didn't do as much as you, and I think, to be fair, when I think about it, Aaron Abbey in the Wrexham area is the most accomplished. But then you're right behind him at number 2, so it's gonna be interesting to see where Yayan's gonna be.
To be honest, he will take over.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time for him. Just the guys he's beating, and not just beating. He's making it look quite easy at times.
Yeah,
they're top lads.
But do you think if me and you were like 15, 16 now, right?
Be different, wouldn't it?
And we had that level of coaching that these lads are getting, we'd have been right in that mix there, loving it.
Then, what a lot of people forget about me, I think I had 18 fights in total, 14 as a pro. I stopped fighting for 4 years.
Yeah.
I had a 4-year break, and if I just kept active on them 4 years, I'd have been 20 odd fights in.
Yeah.
Easily, because I
I think AB's done about 30 now, isn't he? 30 pros or something, is he?
He's got to have. He's in his 20s, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. But you, as I say, you did really well, mate. You weren't far behind him. And what, as I say, what Aaron had going for him, he was 10 years younger than you as well.
Yeah, and he was full time. You know, that's
Yeah.
a big thing. You got to be full time if you're going to go pro now. That's what I'd say anyway.
Yeah. But I do think about it quite often. If we were hitting this generation now, like Ian did,
Yeah.
I think it'd have been probably a little bit different for me and you. Because
Yeah.
I believe you need that top level coaching from a teenager.
Yeah, you need the right sparring partners as well. The right you know, you need the right lads with you on that journey as well. You can't expect someone that's working 12 hours to come and help you out now and then. This doesn't work. You
No.
get let down too much.
Yeah,
When
I
you've got
agree.
when you've got a full gym on the lads the same journey, they're there, they're pushing each other every step of the way. Do you know what I mean? It's totally different.
That's why I threw that kettlebell at Ian Mays that night.
Yeah.
Were you there?
I remember that, yeah.
Noddy phones me up all the time, but he says, "Do you remember when you threw that kettlebell at Ian?"
That's funny. He actually, you know, about I'd say 6 months back, he came back. He came to my gym. I hadn't seen him for years. He came up to one of the side classes. I was like, bloody hell. It's nice to see him, you know.
Do you know something? I love the lad to bits, right? And I haven't seen him for a long time. I think the world of him, right? And I kind of regret doing it now, but I was 28. I was fucking pissed
Shit
off.
happened.
I was pissed off in the gym because like people weren't turning up. I was training for a fight, right? And then he was being lazy and I just lost it, right? So, but the lad had 3 amateur fights he did. And he should have, I think he won 1, lost 2, but he should have won them all, mate.
Yeah, I remember. I was in his corner for everyone.
Yeah. Them two in flexies, he had 2 amateurs, and I think he had 1 on Russes.
Yeah. Unless he had two, I don't know, I can't remember him having 3 now.
But you remember
But
him, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, and you should have. But I tell you, another lad who was like that as well, who had a mixed record, who was so much better, was Josh Evans.
Yeah. Josh took some tough fights as well.
Yeah, but he had 3 or 4 fights, mate, which were a flip of a coin. And you're like, oh man,
Remember?
if you'd have put another 45 seconds, a minute in on that last round, you could have picked that round and then won the fight.
Yeah, I remember Josh, like his stand-up wasn't where his ground game was, when he was really good on the ground, wasn't he, Josh? You know, and if he struggled to get people down, that's where the fight used to slip away from him a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a monster now on the ground. He's absolutely ginormous, and he's still just as flexible as he was back then.
Yeah.
If he put the work in every day, he could be a really good level, Josh, on the ground.
I think
nightmare to run.
Yeah, I think we forget as well that they were just kids. He was only like 16, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I remember that time we took him to Shrewsbury and it all kicked off.
Oh yeah, that was a bad night, that one. Eh?
That was probably the wrongest night I've ever seen. That never seen a kick off like that in my life.
Yeah. So just for
Was
the
that
viewers, so we'll tell the story to finish on the podcast for the viewers. So we're in Shrewsbury and we had 3 or 4 lads fighting in Shrewsbury. Spartan MMA did a show and Danny Suter was fighting there in Shrewsbury. And Matthew Williams was about to go on about 2 or 3 fights.
Getting him ready, weren't we?
So we were just about to go into the squash court to start warming up, right? And he had his hands wrapped and everything. And we're standing in this crowd. And I remember this woman headbutt. Do you remember that woman headbutting that other woman and grabbing her by the hair?
Yeah.
Right. And it spread, didn't it? It just all went off in there, right? So
I'll be honest with you, it scared me. I'll be honest with you. That's one of the things that's proper put the fear of God into me. That because I've never seen so many chairs or a noise like it. Because it was like must have been 300 and they just met head on, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it was absolute carnage. It was Stoke versus Shrewsbury lads, wasn't it? Scrapping.
Yes, Stoke frontliners and Shrewsbury frontliners, weren't they? It all went off. So we get in this squash court.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because we thought, right, we'll go and hide in this squash court, right? And Matty can warm up, it'll die down, it'll be all right. Well, anyway, the lad that they were after, this Danny Suter, was in the squash court with us warming up. So Steve Orton had the door closed, didn't he?
I think it was like 10 of them on the door because they
Yeah.
were kicking out of the door when they're trying to get in.
And so on the squash court, you know, you got the old the glass on the front. They were trying to, you know, the old school benches, Willie, and they were ramming it with the benches, weren't they?
Trying to break the door down.
And it was all cracking and everything. And then they were I remember him trying to throw the vending machine over it.
And then you said it's gonna like the balls of Troy. This guy's
Yeah. So
we're gonna have to go for it here.
Yeah.
Stick together.
I saw Steve was sweating, right? Steve was sweating. I thought, right, I got to do a Braveheart speech here. So all the fighters were in there, and I was like, listen, when they come through that door, we're gonna fucking take them out, man. We're gonna go for it. Come on.
It was twitchy bums, wasn't it?
Mate, it was scary, wasn't it?
It was scary because the bouncers, bless them, they got filled in bad.
Yeah.
They got filled in bad.
Yeah.
It was that many.
I remember walking back to about an hour after. Do you know something? They finished that show, you know.
Did they?
Yeah,
Matty get on, did he?
No. So, see, I didn't know this till I spoke to Dougie after. About an hour after it all dispersed, right, and they were able to get all them fans out, right? We left, and I remember getting back to Steve's BM, and Steve said, "Listen, if anyone comes over the car park, lads, I've got my golf clubs in the boot of the car. Just take a golf club, and we're taking them out, right?" So I was like, "Yeah, no worries." So we had Kurt with me, I had Matty with me, me and Steve, I think, in the BM. Josh was with his dad. Andy was scared a little bit because of Josh was only 16.
I was, but it kicked off a little bit in the car park with us as well.
Did it?
Yeah, but I can't remember who was driving. Who I was driving with, I can't remember.
It was probably Andy because Andy took Josh down to weigh in, so I know Andy drove down there.
It might have been in with them.
Yeah,
time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but literally, mate. So we drive back, and we had to drop Matty off at the Stanton, and then we went to the Stanton. And I said, "Oh, Steve, I need a drink just to calm down, man." I said, "That spiked the adrenaline, that."
Yeah, definitely.
And then about a week after, they restarted the show at about 10 o'clock at night. They finished about 5 fights.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow. Surprised they let that building let them have the show on again.
No, it was the same night, mate. It was the same night.
Oh, same night?
The same night, yeah.
Mad.
After all the fans went, they just said to the fighters, "Right, you can go on now."
Wow.
But they destroyed the place, didn't they?
It was quite scary, that, to be fair.
Yeah. I forgot about that, you know. I really forgot about that. Yeah.
Mad times, mate.
So what lads you got? Go on, mate.
I remember Neil Hall, bless him, bless his soul. He was refereeing that night, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Big Neil. Remember Neil?
I had an argument with him that night, and
yeah, I remember because Josh took about 5 minutes to get the lad down, and as soon as he took him down, he stood him back up, didn't he?
Yeah. And then he said that he was going to give me a warning. He was going to give me like a red card to go out the corner. And I'm like, Neil, you can't justify. The lad's worked hard to get him down. He's got him down. Now you've stood him up. Let him work for at least a minute and a half.
Yeah. As soon as he got him down, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, but yeah, to be fair, I don't think I saw him again after that. And then unfortunately he passed away. He had COVID, didn't he?
Yeah, he wrecked a few of my fights in on FCC and ice and stuff like that.
How did them go after with you?
All good.
Yeah.
All good. Yeah, I had no issues. He was a top ref, to be fair.
Mate, I think he was a top ref, and I think that just that night that like he had an opinion, I had a different opinion.
Yeah,
it was one of them, and I was sticking up for my fighter when do you know what I mean? Because I knew he needed the takedown.
I'm sure Neil had something to do with the lad that was fighting. I'm sure he did a bit of coaching with him, if I remember rightly.
Well, he coached Danny Missing, who I fought.
Yeah, he was a coach down Leeds way, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm sure that lad was from down that area.
Yeah.
Right.
So going forward for you, mate, what have you got? What have you got on plans wise for the gym the next 12 months? What have you got going for the lads fight wise? What's the plan?
Try not to rush the lads in fights, to be honest. We get offers all the time, but I'm not one of these coaches that force. They've got to tell me when they want to fight. So everyone's got different times, different schedules, stuff on. So I'll say, right, there's options here, there's options there, and then when they want to fight, I'll get them the fights. It's down to the fighters now. I'm not one of these pushy coaches, to be honest.
Yeah.
Uh,
Has the money picked up for him, mate, from when we were fighting?
Not really. You got to sell tickets. You got to sell tickets. That's one of my pluses. I used to sell tickets, so I used to do all right out of the money side. But
Yeah.
you know, if you're not selling tickets, unfortunately, you're not going to get paid. And you're in the wrong sport as well in MMA. You're not if you're in it for money, you're in the wrong sport.
Yeah.
The money. Even when you get to UFC, you look at some of these lads. Most of them are in debt. Time they get paid and pay the coaches and the gyms, and
Yeah.
you know they're not getting a lot out of it unless you get in the top 10 or some of these bigger fights. You know, obviously it'll help as well if you can sell tickets.
Yeah, I think that's where the sport falls down at semi-pro's gone now, isn't it? But
Yeah, it's
even
all
at a professional level, you know, it'd be interesting to see like Ian now on Cage Warriors, the type of money he's making on because I've heard some cracking numbers. I know there was a lad at Kev's that got he took a fight on Cage Warriors going back a couple of years ago. He got 20 grand to show and 20 grand for a win, and he got like a win within a minute, 40 grand, mate.
Yeah, I don't think they're on that kind of money now.
No.
I can't remember his name. An Irish kid. He's just been signing for Bellator. Is it Summit Hughes? He's just left anyway. He was a champion, and he said one negative about Cage Warriors is they just don't pay well.
Yeah.
You know, I had Thomas fight on there 3 times. We took him over to Ireland to fight, and the money wasn't great. Don't get me wrong; they put you up in a nice hotel and paid for your flights and all that, pay for all the coaches and stuff. But you know, if you're in it for the money, unfortunately, it's not the sport.
Yeah,
So
we were never in it for the money. We did it because we enjoyed it. Like, but the thing is, if you know your bills don't pay themselves, do they? So that's what people have got to think about, haven't they, going forward?
I remember Jarrad and Ye. I got them on Cage Warriors, both amateur. They both had great fights. Both did really well. Did me proud and the gym proud. Paddy that night sold 5,000 tickets in the Echo Arena. I got told he was on big money, but he basically sold the arena out himself.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised the UFC haven't had a show at Anfield for him coming up. Do you know what I mean?
Sell it.
Yeah, I agree.
You just never know with the weather over here. Yeah, if it had the roof on it, I think they'd jump on a chance to do something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, mate. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring it to a close there. Obviously, when you know when I'm up at my mum's or something, I'll pop in for a session. I enjoyed the last session I came to.
Yeah, get up anytime, mate. You know that.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. Like, to be fair, the good bunch of lads there and brilliant level and everything. Stuart come across really good as well. It's the first time I've met him.
He's a great lad.
Yeah,
he's doing good things in the gym. To be fair to him.
yeah. Well, cheers for the catch up, mate. It's great to
Yeah,
see. It's great to
yeah,
see
mate.
you and all the lads doing well, mate.
Yeah, top man.
Brilliant. You take care of yourself, and we'll get you on again for a catch up again, 12 months or something.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
All right. Have a good weekend, mate. You take care.
Yeah. See you soon.
See you, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.